So the reason why I'm getting a divorce because when I woke up, it was my birthday. My wife didn't acknowledge my birthday. My son didn't acknowledge my birthday. I went to work. My coworkers didn't acknowledge my birthday, and my manager called me in and said, "Mario." I said, "Fuck." I get in there, and she said, "Happy birthday." I said, "Oh, thanks." Then she said, "You want to get some lunch?" And I was like, "Okay." And then she was like, "You want to go back to my place?" And I was like, "All right." So I went back to her place, and she was like, "Let me step in my room. I'll be right back." She got back 5 minutes later, and my kids, my co-workers, my wife was all there to say happy birthday with a cake, and I was on the couch butt naked.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. That was funny, man. That was funny. This nigga thought he was about to get some ass, man. He thought he was about to get some ass, but that's not how it played out, man. That's just not how it played out. But yo, man, it is episode number 320 of the Spann Report podcast. I am your host, Mr. Spann, and I thank you guys for showing up here and fucking with your boy here on this Saturday afternoon, man. We're in December, y'all. We have made it to December. The year of 2020 is like winding itself the fuck down. I know we're all waiting for December 31st when we can look at that fucking calendar and that clock and it reads January 1st, 2021. I know a lot of us after the year that has been 2020 are looking forward to where we could just say, man, to hell with this year, man, fuck this year. Everybody thought 2020 was going to be their year, man. A whole lot of folks came in 2020 like, yo, man, it's going to be my year. I don't know if we could really say that, man. I mean, some people, kind of came up. Some people are going through some trials and some motherfucking tribulations, but we're in the fourth quarter, man. 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, man. We can make this through. We can make it through. We can push through these trials and tribulations and we can get to 2021, man. Hopefully on the upward trajectory, right? But yo, man, like I said, this is episode 320 of the Spann Report podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. And yo, man, appreciate you guys coming through and coming to fuck with your boy, man. But before we get into everything Spann Report related, of course, I do have to let you guys know how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Report podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit us up at our hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages, and of course, those messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. And if you're calling us live while we're doing the show, we're doing the show here live on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. So if you want to chop it up with us and talk about what we're talking about here on the show, hit that hotline up and chop it up with your man Spann. Area code 313-288-0485, man. And we can do that way, man. Real talk. Also, email us here, feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails. And of course, those emails will get right here, reply to here live as well, man. Real talk. Check out our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls when we put those polls up. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. And also, man, check out our store, man. We got some merch over there. We got face masks and shit. We got like hoodies and shit. We got t-shirts. We got stickers. We got the whole shebang over there, man. So go ahead and help us out in that way, man, because it really does contribute to how we continue to do this show, man. Real talk. So for those of you who would patronize us in that way, we really do appreciate that as well. 5-star reviews on iTunes and on Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We appreciate those as well, man. It doesn't cost you nothing. Doesn't cost you a dime, man. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk, man. But yeah, man, it's been an eventful week, so to speak, man. We had some shit going on, man, and we're gonna talk about a few of those things here this week. We're gonna talk about a few of those things. Oh, is my wifey in here? Is my wifey in the chat room? Hey, baby, with your fine ass. She hates when I do that shit, but I love that woman, man. Real talk. She hates when I do that shit. What's going on, Stephanie? How you doing, fam? How you doing? But yo, man, we're gonna get to this. We're gonna get to the shenanigans, man. But I got a few random thoughts before we get into, what the show is gonna be and everything else. Your man Spann comes up with some shit that comes up randomly throughout the week. So I got to talk to you guys about what's going on with me randomly throughout the week. And I got these thoughts, man. I need to share them with y'all. Man. Real talk. And your man Spann is kind of old, man. I am not old. I keep saying like I'm not old. Your man Spann doesn't believe in getting old. Your man Spann believes in getting better. I don't subscribe to that getting old shit, man. I'm old, this, that. Nah, I ain't breathing that shit. I ain't talking that shit into my life, man. Fuck all that, man. I believe in getting better, man. We getting better. We getting seasoned, man. You get some experience behind you. You know a little something, man. I'm getting seasoned, baby. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things I was thinking about, me being seasoned and all, and then again, I get a little grays in my mustache and my beard shit. I get like one or two or whatever, but they some ashy motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Just put a little lotion on and they go away. But but one of the things I was thinking about, man, you're like, for those of you who like are like your man Spann, like you remember like R&B and shit, right? Like real R&B, where like they were groups and shit. I remember when we used to have R&B groups and shit. Like he was like, you had like Jodeci, Boys to Men, fucking As Yet, fucking Troop, fucking what's another group name, man? Somebody help me out with this. Ideal. I mean, you had groups all around, you know what I'm saying? Like you had a whole bunch of groups all around, but then you had like your R&B crooners and shit. You had Luther, you know what I'm saying? Luther come in, and set the mood. You had Teddy P, ain't nobody fucking with Teddy P, man. Teddy Pendergrass. Here's how great Teddy Pendergrass was, man. Teddy Pendergrass is a part of like Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, right? Shy, Stephanie up here in the chat room. Shy also, man. Shy, them was my niggas, man. I mean, they had a 2-album run, but that was my niggas, you know what I'm saying? But like, no, like Teddy P, he was a part of Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and niggas was confusing Teddy P with Harold Melvin. Harold Melvin was like he was the dude in the group. He was paying everybody, but nobody gave him the respect because Teddy P was the motherfucking voice in that group, man, But I was thinking to myself, man, a couple of days, like it might have been a week or so ago. Back in the 80s and shit, we had, R&B where like they used to have fucking a minute and a half, 2-minute instrumental intros and shit. And it was funny, right? Because like after a while, like the intro will be going on or whatever, and you grooving and shit, you'd almost forget that there was a nigga that was supposed to be singing. Like for real, like you'd almost forget, like damn, like what the fuck, bro? Like, and then like you like you doing a little swaying and shit. Then some niggas start busting out singing, and you're like, oh shit, I forgot. As many times you heard this song, the groove is so good that you done forgot that a nigga was supposed to start singing. And then when he starts singing, you be like, oh shit. It's like a whole new song to you, man. We don't got that shit no more, man. I'm starting to sound like an old nigga, but we don't have that shit no more, man. Don't nobody be having like 2-minute like instrumental intros no more. That ain't the thing, man. See, Stephanie knows. Luther got one of the best live albums ever, man. I had to get older to appreciate Luther. Older and a little bit better to appreciate Luther. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Luther wasn't my jam back in the day, man. I wasn't fucking with Luther like that. Whether it was big Luther or skinny Luther, man, I really wasn't fucking with Luther like that. But when I got older, I could appreciate Luther as he, as the musical genius that he was. Same thing with Anita Baker, man. Same thing with Anita Baker. I remember when I was young, man, like Anita Baker was like cleanup music when I was a kid. Like if my mom would like put Luther Vandross or like Anita Baker on, I just knew it was like a Saturday or a Sunday or some shit like that. We would like to be cleaning up in the house and shit. And I didn't really appreciate that shit. Real talk, man. I mean, like that's just what I was about to do. Just wasn't what I was about to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, shit, I really want to be outside playing basketball, but my mama got the damn. If you wake up and your mama got the Luther Vandross playing, if your mama got the gospel music playing, shout out to my older folks, but if she got the gospel music playing, or if she got the Anita Baker playing, your ass about to be up cleaning, man. That's just what it is, man. That's what it was. Especially in the summertime and shit. Cause like when we was in school, it wasn't as bad. Like, like they would kind of cut you some slack and shit. But like in the summertime, oh nigga, your ass is about to be up cleaning, But that was one of the things I was kind of thinking about, man, being reminiscent and shit. Another thing I was kind of thinking about, man, this kind of happened to me earlier in the week while I was at work and shit. There was what is this thing with like people telling folks that what is this thing with folks telling people that their dogs don't bite, man? Like, man, everybody got dogs, man. Especially like, people who think their dogs like they dogs aren't really socialized around a whole bunch of folks, right? Like their dogs are used to like family coming over. Their dogs are used to them being around and shit like that. And they're used to their dog being nice and whatnot. But then like you as a stranger come to their house and shit, and they're like, oh, don't worry about it. You know, Toto doesn't bite. Like, nigga, I don't know Toto and Toto don't know me. This nigga got teeth, don't he? And the reason I bring this up is because like I was in this house earlier this week, man, while I was at work. And I was fucking with these people's furnace and shit. And like I had went, you know, I kind of like I was doing a favor for a coworker of mine to go, you know, kind of start the gas and everything back up in their house and whatnot. And I, you know, just scoping the house, I noticed the dog in the backyard. I saw the dog in the backyard. I'm going to tell you people right now, man, if there's somebody that you don't know coming into your house, don't bring the dog in the house while someone's servicing your house. Just don't do it. Don't do it, right? So I'm downstairs. I see the dog outside. I'm downstairs in the basement and I'm fucking with the furnace. So I'm checking out the furnace, see what's going on with the furnace. And I hear the nails of the dog coming down the steps. Now I'm aware of what the sound sounds like because I have a little dog around my house, man. We got hardwood floors in this house. And, you know, my dog, you know, she click clacks around this motherfucker, man. Like she's a real, you know, spoiled little bitch, you know what I'm saying? But she click clacks around this motherfucker, man. And I heard the clickety clacking of the dog nails coming down the steps, man. It's a pit bull. Your man Spann shook, man. Your man Spann is shook. So I'm like, oh shit. I'm in this basement. This dog is a pit bull. I'm fucking with this furnace. This dog don't know your man Spann. So he comes in there and I got these channel locks. I got these fucking wrenches in my hand and shit. I was ready to whack the fuck out this dog, man. I don't like bragging about this shit. You know, I go all the way back to my meter reading days, man. I done gave a couple dogs some concussions, man. Like real talk, because I've been attacked by dogs, by people who said, oh, my dog don't bite, she good. Right? But like, yo, the dog comes downstairs, pit bull and shit. And like I'm standing there. And she's standing there, and we looking at each other like that contestant on fucking The Voice or whatever, and Diddy and shit. We both looking at each other and shit, just like, you know, just looking at each other. And I'm looking at her, and she looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and she looking at me. Her tail got the wagging and shit. I'm like, oh, come on, girl, come on. Let me give you some love. You know what I'm saying? Got to pat her on the head, rub her on the side, like, hey, yeah, good girl, good girl, good girl. I'm just glad your man Spann didn't panic, man. Because had I panicked and ran the fuck up out of there, I might have had a well-bitten ass, man. I had a well-bitten ass. I'm going to tell you this right now, man. Don't assume that your dog don't fucking bite. Just don't do it, man. Every dog bite. My man Cliff came to my house for the first time like a few months ago, right? Y'all know Cliff. Cliff, my co-host on the Beer and Chicken podcast, man. Keisha, my dog, he at the crib. Very nice dog. You know what I'm saying? Little chihuahua. A little protective of, you know, her people's here. You know what I'm saying? Like the mailman comes, she bought it. You know what I'm saying? Cliff came to the door, nigga. She was at his ankles, bro. Cliff didn't stand a motherfucking chance, man. Didn't stand a chance. Every bit of the 8 pounds of Keisha was on his ass, man. So I'm gonna need y'all to like get it together, man. Stop assuming that just because your dog is nice to you, that your dog will not bite strangers, man. These dogs, and then the other thing about this, and I get it, like, you know, folks assume that, you know, I'm nice to my dog, therefore my dog is gonna be nice to everybody. Like, no, your dog don't know strangers, just like people don't know the strangers. If I ask you to put your dog up, put the motherfucker up, man. It's the least you can do, man. It's the least you can do, man. Real talk. But that happened to me this weekend. I was thinking about that, man. Another thing I was thinking about this week. Why do niggas like repeating the bad advice that they daddies gave to them to the whole world, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's this guy I know at work, man. Every time I see him, man, he'd be like, you know, my daddy told me this, and it'd be some shit. And I just kind of roll my eyes, shit, like, all right, nigga, I guess. You know, you know what I'm saying? And he always prefaces anything he says when he think he about to say something deep. When he think he about to say something deep, he like, man, my daddy always told me, man. Niggas always like to repeat what their daddy always told them, right? Sometimes it's deep, sometimes it ain't. You got to take them as they come, right? But we living in the COVID-19 time. And there's a whole lot of niggas who's walking around talking about what their daddies and their mamas and their grandpappies and told them and shit like that. Like, man, my daddy told me not to take no shots, nigga. Like no shots, nigga, no flu shots, no corona shots, like nothing. Talking about that's how they put the chip in you. They put the chip in you, nigga. It's over. That's the mark of the beast. It's over, nigga. And I just be looking at these niggas like, for real? All right, man. Ain't this the same daddy you told you that if you kept jacking off, you'd be blind and shit? Same pops, right? Okay. Didn't you just buy like a 4K TV, 120 hertz refresh rate and shit? You know, I know you still jack off, nigga, because you talk about it all the time. Your daddy don't know every goddamn thing, man. Stop taking all the advice from your daddy at face value. Stop thinking your daddy is the goddamn Bible, man. Real talk. Just saying. I'm not about to take it like health advice from a nigga who just last week I watched inhale 1.5 pounds of pig intestines, man. He can't leave the booty noodles alone, but he about to tell you the best thing for your health, man. I'm gonna just need y'all to just like recognize the messenger. Recognize the messenger. That's all your man Spann saying. That's all I'm saying, man. Real talk. Another thing I was thinking about, man. Are you the kind of person who's genuinely happy for people? You know, like something good happens for someone and you're genuinely happy for them because you just like, yo, man, I know like kind of struggles this person went through. I know some of the things that this person has to deal with and something good happens for them. And you like, yo, man, congratulations. That's dope, right? Are you one of those people? Especially like when they announce shit, you know what I'm saying? Like when they start talking about shit and like, you know, they take it to the people and like, yo, man, this happened for me, you know, and they're looking for people to like to feel good for them, right? Or are you one of those people who are just like, well, I got to find out with everybody else? You know what I'm saying? Because you do have those people. You do have those people like when you announce something that's really good for you and maybe you didn't make a personal phone call or maybe you didn't like send us a special message or something shit like that to certain people. Like, are you one of those people who feel like you deserve or you desire or you are entitled to the specific message just for you? Because like I was thinking about this, you know, for a minute, man. I was like, man, like in some odd way, that's sort of taking that moment when somebody's feeling good about something happening to them. That's sort of kind of making it about you. When you take from them, like I had to find out with everybody else. Like, I mean, it's about me right now. You know what I'm saying? It's about how good we feel. It's about how good I feel about this great thing that's happening in my life. And you want to take away from that to make it about whether or not I called you. Like that's some foul shit, man. That's actually some pretty insidious shit, to be honest with you. And you have people around you that are like that, man. And I think to some degree though, it has to do with like there's some generational things that go on with that too, right? Like, you know, there's some people who are a bit older who feel as though like, yo, I deserve that phone call because they're not used to social media and everything else. And then you got a younger crowd of people who are just like, yo, man, I'm used to social media being the way that I communicate with the world. And then the world finds out. And that way I don't have to keep making these individual motherfucking calls, right? You find out and then you call that person and you're checking them in their moment of happiness. Right? It's just weird, man. It was just something I was thinking about, man. But yo, man, those have been your man Spann's random thoughts. It's time for us to get on up in the news, man. You know what? I'm looking in the chat room and I'm watching my wife and Stephanie go back and forth on these old school groups, man. I'm just like, it's a universal, man. It's a universal. My wife is here talking about Stevie Wonder and Earth, Wind, and Fire, and Stephanie is in here talking about the Commodores and Phyllis Hyman, man. It's universal, man. Everybody know when that music come on, your ass about to be cleaning in the crib, bro. It's about to be cleaning in the crib. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. But as we get into the news, man, Yo, man, real talk. I kind of should just call this shit the coronavirus news, because that's pretty much all this is like coronavirus news. But our first story here in the news has to deal with coronavirus, and let me pull this up here. Yeah, man, we got a pastor that this happened in California, San Bernardino County, California, but a pastor died of COVID-19 just a couple of weeks after his mega churches reopened for indoor services. After, I want to say, like, after the Supreme Court announced they would like not necessarily, it's not constitutional for you to block church services for coronavirus purposes. We get the story here. This comes out of the LATimes.com. It says an associate pastor for a mega church in San Bernardino County died of COVID-19 about a month after the facility reopened indoor services. Bob Bryant of the Water of Life Community Church in Fontana tested positive for the coronavirus in November and soon developed an aggressive pneumonia in his lungs, according to a post on the church's Facebook site. He then suffered a heart attack. He ultimately was placed on a ventilator and died Monday. He was 58. Bryant was a pastor in the church's benevolence department, which provides financial assistance for people in need, said Susan DePaula, executive assistant to the senior pastor. Bryant became sick while on vacation and did not return to the church once he showed symptoms in November. DePaula said she was not sure when Bryant was last at the church. It can generally take up to 14 days after a person is exposed to the coronavirus to begin showing signs of illness. A state health order does not permit churches to hold indoor services in counties in the state's most restrictive or purple tier in its reopening framework, which includes San Bernardino County. Only outdoor services are permitted in those counties. San Bernardino County has been among the hardest hit regions in the state. In the last week, it has reported one of the highest rates of coronavirus infections among California's 58 counties. The number of people hospitalized with COVID-19 in the county has quadrupled in the past month, from 217 on October 26th to 883 on Tuesday. I'm gonna just say this, man. As a person of faith, I know I don't necessarily like reflect that in the ways in which y'all continue, like, you know, you may think about it, but like this idea, man, like, you know, we talked about the churches like suing and going all the way up to the Supreme Court for the ability to have in-person church services during this pandemic. And I'm gonna just say this, man. I'm gonna need y'all to recognize the grift that is happening amongst you, amongst the faith community, man. I'm gonna need y'all to recognize the grift. You can't. It's not the same when you're not giving as much when you ain't there, man. Think about this for a second. There's a lot of people who go to church. There's a lot of older people who go to church who don't necessarily adhere to the ideas of doing anything digitally, right? They don't want to go to the Zoom meeting. They don't want to give like they don't want to get like a PayPal or a Cash App or a Venmo or anything like that in order for them to like to continue to give to the church, get a 10% in their tithes and offerings and stuff like that. They don't want to do it that way. They're used to a certain way of things being, and that's how they want to continue to do these things, despite the fact that we have this pandemic going on. And so, you know, you got churches who are facilitating the ability for these people to continue to do these things in a way in which they were used to, despite the fact that this pandemic is going on, and they're putting these people at risk. They're putting these people at risk, right? And so I like you can go to the Bible and know that, like, you know, wherever 2 or 3 of you are in proximity, therefore that's where I am. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm like really like fucking up the the terminology of the scripture, but it's in the Bible, man. I believe it's the book of Matthew. I'm drawing a blank as to, it's been a while since your man Spann was a junior deacon in the church and everything else, but I'm just saying, like, it's in the Bible. Like, it don't take 50,000 people to worship God in one place, is what I'm saying. It don't take all that. You can be a worshiper. You can still praise God from the comfort of your own home. It don't take you being amongst 30,000 people in order for you to be able to praise God in the ways in which God should be praised. It just doesn't. And especially in a time like this, it's just stupid. That's the other part that I find very offensive about the whole thing about being a person of faith, is that, like, you know, they act as though being a person of faith means you have to suspend your fucking reality. It means you have to suspend your logical thinking. You do not. You do not. And you don't have to go to this building in order to worship the God of your choice. You just don't. And so, like, it's weird, man. As a matter of fact, there was a hold on, let me pull this up. There was a lady who found this out like the hard way. She decided that she wanted to go to church, and she was like going on Twitter and shit. She was talking cash shit on Twitter, man, about her being able to go to church and whether and fuck how everybody else felt about it. Let me pull this up so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. All right, let's see. And it hasn't loaded this up. Okay, here we go. She says, I don't know who needs to hear this, but this is a reminder that I am willing to die for my religion. If I get COVID attending mass, then I'll deal with it, but I'm not missing out on worshiping. Meanwhile, you can do that shit at the crib. You don't get to bar me from my religion because you are scared. Be mad. Don't care. Right? Very, very, very dismissive of everybody telling her, like, yo, your safety is at risk by doing this, right? Because that's how they do, right? But check it out. She then goes 2 days later. It says, I don't know how to casually say this, but I tested positive for COVID. I'm really, really, really appreciative of some prayers for my husband and I. He has a pre-existing condition, and I'm really worried about him. So if you were really worried about your husband and his pre-existing condition, and you didn't care how many people was mad about you going to church, this, that, and the other, then what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Because it's not necessarily about you. This is the thing that a lot of people are getting fucked up right now. And they've been getting fucked up for the longest time. Is that the COVID shit really necessarily ain't about you. There's a lot of people who are like fit, you know, physically and everything else, fit health-wise and whatnot, and they may not necessarily get the symptoms. Some of us are walking around asymptomatic. Don't even know we had it, right? Didn't even know we had it or whatever. But we are around people who may be susceptible to much more severe symptoms than we are. And yet we act as though, like, because we good, everybody else gonna be good. And that ain't how the shit work. Right? Here we are coming up to like the end of 2020, and we're losing 3,100 people a day to COVID unnecessarily. Because by and large, people act like this ain't shit. People act like this don't mean a goddamn thing. People act like, yo, man, because I'm good, everybody else good. No, that's not what that means. This is why I was like bitching last week about, you know, y'all talking about going to the clubs and shit. Y'all want to go to like Meemaw house for fucking Thanksgiving or whatever. It'd be real fucked up. You go to Meemaw house for Thanksgiving and Meemaw on a fucking respirator come Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that really what you want? Can you sacrifice this Thanksgiving so that you have Meemaw for Christmas, not only this year, but for next year? You know? So yeah, man, like, only in America, man, real talk, like, we act as though like our personal freedoms trump the overall well-being and the overall health of the people around us, right? Like, we only in America are we doing this. Everybody else in the world is fighting COVID. We fighting each other on the political shit. Because you could pretty much tell a lot of times how people are skewing one way or the other when it comes to masks, when it comes to the vaccines, all that shit. You can kind of pick and choose. Like, you kind of see like where people are leaning towards certain shit, man. But that's in the news, man. Fucking megachurch pastor died because, you know, he thought he was going to test God, and it didn't work out that way. Another story that we got here in the news, man, because people are not taking this shit entirely seriously, is a couple was arrested in Hawaii after boarding a flight, knowing that they were positive for the COVID-19 virus.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, we get the story here. This comes out of ABC 7. I believe there's video to this. Let me go see if I can pull this video up and we can watch this video together as a family. Let me do this here. All right. I'm going to pull this back up. You guys can watch right along with your man, Spann. All right. This comes out of, I believe this is out of Chicago. Yeah, ABC News Chicago. And man, Comcast has been showing they ass, bro. Load this shit, bro. Jesus Christ. In a good way, you know.
No water in the water fountain.
Let's go ahead and mute that goddamn commercial though, because I mean, I'm using y'all shit, but still, I ain't really trying to promote these goddamn commercials on my show, But all right, here we go. Let's see what they're talking about.
Who traveled from San Francisco International Airport to Kauai has been arrested for boarding that flight when they knew they were positive for COVID. The mayor of Kauai announced the arrests. The man and woman are actually residents of Kauai who tested positive during pre-travel screenings prior to their United Airlines flight from SFO over the weekend. They're charged with second-degree reckless endangerment. They're currently in isolation, and contact tracing is being done to alert anyone who needs to go into quarantine. These two cases have increased the island of Kauai's total number of current positive cases to 17 from 15. Starting today, all travelers arriving on Kauai are subject to a 14-day self-quarantine, regardless of testing.
I'm in a couple travel groups.
No matter what the 5 million parenting search results say.
But I'm in a couple travel groups on Facebook and stuff, right? Just because I be wanting ideas and stuff. So I be seeing what people be doing or whatever. But like, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I be in them travel groups judging the fuck out of these people in these groups that's still going on trips, going on fucking like excursions, all this shit. I be like judging. I'm like, in a pandemic? Like, be just looking at the screen like, y'all nasty. Not me. Couldn't be me. And like, think about this for a second. So these people who lived in Hawaii took this trip despite the fact that they knew, or better yet, took this flight knowing that they had tested positive for COVID-19, right? You've got folks on this flight, don't live in Hawaii, don't live on that island or nothing like that, but they're going on there for vacation, right? I know they talk about like, circulation of the air on these planes and stuff like that. And, I know the airline industry is telling you like how safe it is because, they want you motherfuckers to fly. They need the money. Right. But like, can you imagine like, going on this fucking trip that you think is going to be, like you got to have this trip come 2020, I paid for this trip. Y'all like, I'm sure like all the insurance in the world, man, they got all the insurance in the world for you to be able to take this trip later. But like, man, nigga, I paid for this, nigga. I ain't about to let this coronavirus stop me from doing what the fuck I want to do, nigga, man. 2020 my year, nigga. Like, all this other shit that people tell themselves. Imagine being on that motherfucking flight and you find out later, like, it was some niggas on that flight that had the shit, and now you might have it. And I know it's gonna be niggas that be like, yo, man, scared in the motherfucker that they might have it because they was on a plane with people who did have it. Right? I know we want to get back to normal. I know we want to get back to a place where we don't have to wear masks, where we can just kind of go move and be free in how we move things, how we do things, this and that other. I know we want to get back to that. But like, can we do the work first? It's almost like when your mama would tell you, like, hey, man, do your homework, then you go outside and play. This is what this is, man. Like, these are those lessons and shit that we learned as kids. Do your homework, then you can go outside and play. Too many of us don't want to do the fucking work so that we can go outside and play later. That's essentially how I like kind of relate a lot of this COVID shit, man. Everybody act as though like until they know somebody who dies from it personally. I know 3 people this year who have died from it personally. Until it happens to somebody somebody close to you, then people act as though like this is just some mythical thing, man. It's just some shit that they done made up in a goddamn lab. Okay, even if they did make the shit up in a goddamn lab, the results of the shit are fucking real, man. That's what people don't like tend to forget. Like, yo, people are dealing with the real world consequences of the shit that they made up in the lab. If you want one of those conspiracy theory motherfuckers, right? So yeah, man. They arrested these people, rightfully so. Should have been arrested. Should have even got their asses on the plane. But that's in the news, man. Another story that happened here in the news is, and this happened in a city I've grown to love over the years, man. Shout out to my wife for introducing New Orleans to your man, Spann, man, real talk. Very special place to us. A swingers convention happened in New Orleans. And 41, count them, 41 attendees of the swingers convention tested positive for the coronavirus.
God damn!
Yeah, man. We get the story here. This comes out of NOLA.com. It says at least 41 people who attended a swingers gathering in New Orleans in November have tested positive for the coronavirus, according to the event's organizer. One of those attendees was hospitalized in serious condition, but has since been released, said Bob Hannaford, the organizer of the annual Naughty and Nolans swingers gathering. Most of these cases were asymptomatic or very mild, he said. If I could go back in time, I would not produce this event again, he wrote Friday in a blog post about this year's event. I wouldn't do it again if I knew then what I know now. How in the fuck didn't you not know? How did you not know? This shit been going on all 2020, baby. All 2020, this shit been going on. I couldn't go to New Orleans for my anniversary this year, man. They canceled the fucking red dress run. They canceled fucking Mardi Gras. How did you not know? Like, come on, man. Okay, he said, if I knew then what I know now, it weighs on me that it will continue to weigh on me until everyone is 100% better. Naughty and Nolans was much smaller this year with more restrictions. While some 2,000 attended last year, about 250 people checked in. So hold up. 250 people checked in. 41 of them have already tested positive for coronavirus. Come on, man. Come on, man. They checked in at the Nopsey Hotel for the first day of the event. Hannaford previously told NOLA masks were worn at events, social distancing was enforced, contact diaries were kept, and attendees were tested for the virus or antibodies before the gathering, he wrote. Over 50% of our attendees had the antibodies, and many of the rest got tested right before the event, which means they had been around motherfuckers who had it, or they had it already. Oh my God, man. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, fat people don't believe fat mean greasy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Mrs. Spann in the chat room said catching coochie and COVID. Oh shit, man. Oh man, she also said, I know at least 5 people who are in Miami right now living it up in the clubs like COVID can't get them in the titty bar, man. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And Florida is one of those states where they don't even have any sort of restrictions. The governor is just talking about them not having any sorts of restrictions at all, despite the fact that the COVID numbers are getting worse at this particular point in time, more than they were at the beginning of this pandemic, where everybody was just like kind of scared to even like go outside. You know what I'm saying? They're just acting as though this is we're overblowing everything. But yo, man, people are dying. 3,100 people are dying a day, and this is just what it is. But yo, that has been the news, y'all. But y'all know what time it is.
What in blue blazes is going on out here? Did this nigga just say blue blazes?
All right, man. Our first story here in Blue Blazes is this, man. Oh my God. I kind of feel for this dude, man. I kind of do, man. But a bitter husband was forced to sell his PlayStation 5 after he told his wife that it was a goddamn air purifier.
God damn!
Yeah, man. We get the story out of Newsweek, and it reads, as gamers around the world scour for the internet for a PlayStation 5, one poor soul was forced to sell theirs at the behest of his wife. According to the Taiwan News, the Facebook username Jin Wu wrote a story on his purchase of a PlayStation 5 from a reseller. Wu writes that the next-gen console was being sold for much less than anywhere else he saw, and after agreeing to purchase the next-gen console, he called the reseller, and to his surprise, a woman answered the phone. When speaking with the woman, Wu said that she didn't seem like she was someone who played video games, but who was going to turn down purchasing a lightly used PlayStation 5 for the price it was being sold for. The resale price was never divulged. It said Wu also said that the woman was eager to part with the PlayStation 5. However, when Wu went to the reseller's home to pick up the PlayStation 5, he was surprised again when a man answered the door. Assuming he was a gamer, the two began to chat, and Wu discovered the man bought the PlayStation 5 from PC Home. Curious as to why the man was selling the PlayStation 5, Wu asked if he had bought 2 consoles. The man simply told Wu, "My wife wants to sell it." Wu describes the man as having a bitter expression when the husband continued. It turns out that the woman can tell the difference between the PlayStation 5 and an air filter. And I'm gonna say this, man. I had a couple different reactions to this story when I first read it, right? Because your man Spann, I've tried to obtain a PlayStation 5. I given up on that pursuit, by the way. I pretty much is like, you know what? PlayStation 5, I can get that bitch in January, man. I can get it in February, man. I'm not about to like be scouring these fucking websites, like sitting on this damn thing, it being on sale at 9 o'clock, and then 9 o'clock in 1 second, the bitch is sold out, man. I'm not for the headache, man. I got too much shit going on. Y'all have at this whole, like hype shit, man. Wait till when you could just walk into a store, pay for the motherfucking walk out with one. That's just where I'm at with it right now, right? But despite all of the shit that's going on in the world, this man was able to obtain a PlayStation 5. Now, the questions that I had was, the first thing I was like, so you got to divorce her, right? Right? Like when he was talking about his wife sold his PlayStation 5, like, so you got to divorce her, right? Because that's just disrespectful. That's just disrespectful. And then I was happy to the fact that like my wife is like, not like, she's supportive in some of the shit that I do. Like she might not necessarily understand, but she's like, all right, nigga, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like I remember when I told my wife I was trying to get the PlayStation 5 and like how like she gave me the Judgy McJudger fit, like the Judgy McJudgerson face. Like, nigga, you don't really need this shit, but all right, I guess, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And so like I'm thankful for that. But I'm looking at him like, damn it, so you got to divorce her, right? But then I was thinking about it, though. I was thinking about this. I'm like, so who paid for it, right? Who paid for it? Like, did she pay for it and, like, you told her it was something different and that's why you selling it? You know what I'm saying? Because it's different if she paid for it. Because you got a lot of niggas out here right now, like, they want women who going to pay for their PlayStation 5s and shit. That's kind of like a thing. Like, we was talking about this a couple weeks ago. Like, the women from that, I forget what the name of that podcast is, but it's on Joe Budden Network. And they were talking about the PlayStation 5 and how, like, people are going crazy for it and everything else. And we talked about it a bit. But I'm just like, yo, man, like, so did she pay for it? No? Or did she? Like, I don't know. Like, what? It's got to be some other shit going on there for this man to like just be like willingly like, okay, so my wife sold this shit, but I'm really just gonna like kind of keep going through with this though. Like, it had to be something else, right? But the other thing about this, man, I know the PlayStation 5 looks different. You know what I'm saying? It looks different. but Buddy really thought he was about to get away. Was saying that shit was a goddamn air purifier. I admire the audacity of his like him trying it. I admire that audacity of him trying it that way. But this shit say PlayStation 5 right on the fucking thing, man. Like, oh man, like real talk. I just thought that shit was funny, man. My man was like, yo, his wife made him sell his fucking PlayStation 5. Now I'm sure, like, it's not, again, man, it's not that big a deal. Like, I get it. There's a hype around being like the first to have some shit, being the first to be on your block. Like, this goes back to when we was kids and shit, being the first on your block with a Sega Genesis, being the first on your block with a Super Nintendo, being the first on your block with a PlayStation. Like, I get it, but you're probably not the first person on your block. Like, do you really hang out with your neighbors like that? Do they know you got a PlayStation 5 in your house? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it? Because I think that's what plays into a lot of this shit, right? A lot of us who grew up in like the 80s and 90s, there was a bit of cachet around surrounding being the first to have some shit. Like, I don't know if that cachet really means much anymore. I guess for me anyway, I don't know if it really means that much anymore. I take that back. When I got my car, I was the first person that I knew that had my car. If somebody else had my car, I probably wouldn't have wanted it. Like, real talk. I don't know where the fuck that comes from, but yeah. But yeah, man. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. But I'm telling y'all, wait this shit out. Come January, February, the hype is gonna kind of die down because everybody's trying to get this shit for their kids for Christmas. I'm gonna tell you this right now. For those of you who are not able to get this shit for your kids for Christmas, trust and believe. When you pop up with that goddamn PlayStation 5 come February, come January, come March, guess how excited them kids gonna be when they don't know what's coming? They're gonna be just as excited whether they got it in December, January, February, or March. So don't sweat it, man. I'm telling y'all, man, don't sweat it. The shit is gonna like level itself out. And not only that, don't be one of them like gullible and like thirsty motherfuckers who pays $1,000 for a PlayStation 5 when the shit sells for $399, man. Real talk. Just don't do it. Just don't do it, man. Real talk. But that's in Blue Blazes. Now, another story that we got here. Excuse me. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazes is Miley Cyrus's little sister, man. What's her name? I don't know her name. I guess I got to read the article. I don't know her name. But one of Miley Cyrus's siblings that stepped out here, said some shit that got people all up in her mentions on the social medias. She called Candace Owens a nappy ass hoe on the social medias. See, my wife in the chat room. Noah Cyrus. Thank you, baby. I love you. Noah Cyrus called Candace Owens a nappy ass hoe, right? And the reason why she called her a nappy ass hoe was because Candace Owens was talking shit about some actor who was wearing a dress or something. And like I believe it was a Vanity Fair or something. I'm gonna just read the story because I'm fucking this all up. But I'm gonna read the story and we're gonna just kind of go from there. It says Noah Cyrus. There we go. Noah Cyrus, sister of Miley Cyrus, faces backlash for calling Candace Owens a nappy ass hoe. Noah Cyrus, the 20-year-old younger sister of Miley Cyrus, is facing backlash online after she appeared to call conservative personality Candace Owens a nappy ass hoe. I like saying it that way, nappy ass hoe. A screenshot of Cyrus's Instagram story was intended to defend singer Harry Styles against comments Owens made about Styles wearing a dress in the December issue of Vogue. "Bring back manly men," Candace Owens exclaimed on November 14th in a tweet reacting to the fashion magazine's photo shoot with the pop star. While Styles did not initially respond to Candace Owens' call out, he eventually mocked her "bring back manly men" comment on Wednesday, December 2nd, by making it his caption in an Instagram photo of himself wearing a baby blue suit and eating a banana. Things took a turn, however, when Noah Cyrus posted the initial Vogue photo of Styles wearing a dress in her Instagram story. "He wears this dress better than any of you nappy ass hoes," she wrote on a post, which was captured in screenshots online. On Thursday, Owens responded to Cyrus's use of the racist reference, tweeting, any one of you woke liberals care to explain to me how Noah Cyrus calling me a nappy ass hoe is not racist? I'm all ears. You guys love cancel culture. Miley Cyrus, come get your sister." The internet subsequently called out Noah Cyrus and the glaring racism behind her dig at Candace Owens. "I would probably never agree with you again, but Noah Cyrus calling a black woman nappy-headed hoe is a racial slur, not acceptable, period. You might want to Google Don Imus," tweeted one Twitter user, recalling the late radio personality Don Imus, who in 2007 infamously described the Rutgers University basketball women's team as nappy-headed hoes and was subsequently fired from his CBS radio show. Following the outrage over her comment, Noah Cyrus took to Instagram yet again to issue an apology in which she claimed she was not aware of the racism behind her use of the word nappy. "I am mortified that I use the term without knowing the context and history, but I know that I am horrified and truly sorry. I will never use it again. Thank you for educating me. I in no way meant to offend anyone. I am so sorry," Cyrus wrote. I'm going to just say this here right now, man. I'm going to just say this right now. Far be it from me to be out here in any sort of fucking way defending Candace Owens. It won't be me. It can't be me. I will shoot myself in the dick before I be out here defending Candace Owens on anything. The fact that Candace Owens, let me pull this down, but the fact that Candace Owens, who's made a career out of discounting and gaslighting and straight up fucking like just acting as though racism doesn't exist. She's made a whole career out of this. The fact that she's been able to flip you niggas into believing that it's racism because it happened to her. Meanwhile, any sort of racism that happens to any other black person is bullshit. Fuck Candace Owens, man. I can't believe some of y'all fell for this shit. The fact that she would try to, like, here's the thing, and I know what it is. Some of y'all are afraid to look like hypocrites, but y'all are looking like hypocrites to the biggest fucking hypocrite. This woman has made her career and her name off of discounting racism against black people. This woman has gone out of her way to tell you that the racism that you are experiencing isn't real. This woman has gone out of her way to besmirch the character of one Breonna Taylor, one of George Floyd, of Trayvon Martin, of I keep drawing a blank on my man that got shot in the back 7 times. Be that as it may, Candace Owens has made her bones discounting the racism against everybody else. And you want me to believe that I'm supposed to be upset that somebody said something racist against Candace Owens? I'm sorry. Candace Owens believes that racism doesn't exist for any of us. So if Candace Owens is telling you that racism doesn't exist for any of us, how in the fuck do we look coming to racists to defend her against a supposed racist attack? How do we look? Understand when your anger is being used against you, right? Understand that, because what she's really trying to do is like, yo, I should be defended in this moment, because you liberals, you guys, you're so tolerant, and you don't accept, racism and discrimination. But what about the discrimination that's happening against me? You mean the racism that you told everybody else that doesn't exist, Candace Owens? The fuck out of here, man. Get all the way the fuck out of my face when it comes to racism. When it comes to Candace Owens. I saw some white dude on Twitter talking about the reason why the blacks aren't defending Candace Owens is because she married a white guy. But he really thought he was on to something. Nobody gives a fuck that Candace Owens married a white guy. Real talk. Most people with sense don't give a fuck that Candace Owens married a white dude. What they do care about is the fact that Candace Owens makes her bread telling you that the racism that you've been experiencing, that the systemic racism that happens across America all the time is non-existent. That's what black people give a fuck about. And so for Candace Owens to get y'all to go to get y'all to go up and like sick y'all. But here's the thing, like Candace Owens sicked y'all on this girl because this girl said some racist shit. like let's not make no mistake about it. What Noah Cyrus said was fucked up. Make no mistake about it. What she said was fucked up. However, the target of the fucking the criticism being the one who told y'all that this sort of shit doesn't exist, and then sicking you on somebody else, and you being willing to be like, well, because of my principle, I don't fuck with Candace Owens like that. But yeah, what Noah Cyrus said was wrong. Like, it's like my man Adam said on Facebook, man. He was like, yo, it's fucking it's like one of those football penalties and shit, man. Offset penalties and shit. It's like one of those offset penalties, like, holding on one side and here offsides on the other and shit, and then offsetting penalties first down, nigga. That's what it was. I'll be goddamn though if you gonna have me or anybody else. Like I'll be looking at some of y'all like kind of sideways if I seen y'all like, man, but it was kind of fucked up, man. Like she really. Nah, it's Candace Owens, bro. It's Candace Owens. I don't think we owe Candace Owens any sort of allegiance or loyalty or anything like that, because Candace Owens decided a long time ago that the money was worth it to like kind of throw your suffering under the bus. She's made that decision. So you can't allow for somebody to use your anger against you, especially when they've been mocking your anger the entire fucking time, man. Don't do it. Don't fall for that sort of shit. And that's exactly what Candace Owens was allowed to do, was to allow your anger to be used against you in a way that benefited her, despite the fact that she's been mocking your anger the entire fucking time. fuck Candace Owens. Real talk. So yeah, that's in Blue Blazes. Another story that we got here in Blue Blazes, man. So I saw this story here on the Twitter streets first. It was kind of funny, man, because Twitter tends to get shit first, man. Like it was weird, like seeing this shit go down my Twitter timeline, and then like a day and a half later, seeing people on Facebook like argue about the shit later, and you seeing some of the same arguments come down. Like, I seen this shit a couple days ago. But so there was a restaurant. There was a restaurant in Dallas, Texas. Truth, I think it's Truth Kitchen and Cocktails, man. And it was pretty lit up in the Truth, man. I'm gonna just say that right now. It was lit, that motherfucker, man. So much so that the owner of the restaurant had to come out, start cussing out the patrons because the patrons was twerking all over his goddamn furniture, man.
Got him! Got him!
That was the wrong one. I meant to do this one right here, man.
Ho, brother. Whoa. Now, you got too much dip on your chip.
Yeah, man. So we get this story here. We get this out of the Griot. Most of this story comes out of the Griot. But let me go ahead and pull this up because I believe they have the video to this. And I want to pull this video up because we're going to talk about this a little bit. We got some things to discuss here. Before I read the article, though, I'm going to just go ahead and pull the video up. As soon as this shit loads up, because Comcast, fastest in the world, right? I don't know about that shit. Y'all been fucking. Comcast has been showing me their ass last week. I wish we had something better than Comcast here in Michigan, man. Hey, Google Fiber, like holla at your boy. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
My bad. I wasn't talking to you like at the moment and shit. My bad. But let me pull this up. I be forgetting that motherfucker sitting right there, yo. Let me pull this up so y'all can watch right along with me, man. Check this out. Let's see what he's talking about.
I invested a lot of money into buying this building, into developing this concept, so black people can have somewhere nice to go to, okay? Somewhere where we can feel good about ourselves as a... Come on, stop the music, please. Somewhere where our people can feel good about ourselves as a culture, okay? Yeah. No, real talk. And so all this twerking and shit, take it to Prime, take it to Pink, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. And so beyond that, 75% of my customers are ladies. And I want men to show respect for themselves for how they carry themselves here. So how can I tell the men to respect themselves and you guys are twerking on glass here? If you want to do it, get the fuck out my restaurant. Because I did it for our people and I did it for our culture. So don't do it now. Don't do it again. I don't want to hear it. If you don't like it, get out because I don't need your money. I need to provide something for my people. And don't do it again. Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, this video went viral of him cursing out patrons in his restaurant about them twerking on the glass and things like that. And I didn't see like the video of them like actually twerking and shit. I didn't see those, right? I didn't see like the actual twerking going on. I'm sure there are videos of that, and right now I just really don't have the time to look those up at the moment. But as I understand it, they were like, in the booths and shit, like, on the mirrors and shit on the glass or whatever, and they were twerking and everything else. And I saw some of the responses that people had to what was going on. Now, I'm gonna just say this, and I'm probably gonna piss some people off, man. To some degree, I agree with this dude. I know, man. I know. To some degree, I agree with this dude. And I'll just say this, man. I am one of those people who, like, if you're about having a good time, I'm all for that. If you're about like being free and shit like that, like living how you want to live, I'm all for that. But I'm also a person who also believes in that there is a time, there are places for shit. There just is, man. There just is. There's just like the way of the world. Like there just is a time and place for certain things, right? And so while I don't agree with this brother's approach, I can see what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? I can kind of see what he's saying. But there's some problems that I have with what he said too. So let's just not get that misconstrued either. There's some problems that I have with what he said, but I can kind of see some of the things that he's saying, right? So, first things first, I don't give a damn about people twerking or whatever else, man. You're having a good time, you're having a good time. However, there's a time and a place for certain shit to happen. Just what it is, man. There was a statement made by the restaurateur that said like, yo, man, we talked to these particular patrons a few times before about them, standing on furniture. As a matter of fact, I believe I had that statement while I'm sitting up here trying to contemporaneously remember this shit. Let me see if I can pull this up. It says, let me read this story, this article, because this comes out of the DallasEater.com. It says in a lengthy statement posted to Instagram, the True Kitchen and Cocktails owner Kevin Kelly has officially responded to the viral twerking controversy that's currently dominated the conversation on social media. In response to thousands of tweets, comments, and posts regarding the incident, True Kitchen and Cocktails Instagram account is now home to a 545-word statement addressing the twerking fiasco. In the statement, Kelly clarifies that the rant was inspired by the behavior of women sitting at 3 tables at the restaurant, one of whom was dancing up against the restaurant's glass window. A customer stood on her seat, placed her hands against the glass windows, and began to twerk, the statement reads. My immediate reaction was this woman could fall through the window and we could be target of a lawsuit if she was injured. For those who haven't seen the video, it depicts Kelly yelling at a restaurant full of diners about what is and isn't appropriate behavior in a restaurant and telling those who don't like it to leave. All this twerking shit, don't bring it here because we're a restaurant. If you want to do it, get the fuck out of my restaurant. Don't do it again. I don't want to hear if you don't like it. Get out because I don't need your money. The statement claims that Kelly has additional videos of the alleged bad behavior, but that it is not posted because the restaurant does not want to embarrass the guests sitting at those tables. It also notes that True Kitchen and Cocktails will adjust its playlist and DJ selections in the future, likely in reference to comments about the fact that Dallas rapper Lil Ronnie, Mother F's song, Throw That Ass in a Circle, played in the background as the incident occurred. Later, Kelly is pretty clear that twerking on the furniture is definitely not allowed at True Kitchen and Cocktails. No guest has the right to come into our business home and stand on our furniture because of any song played, the statement reads. As for twerking being a part of our culture, we do not welcome that part of the culture that will come into a restaurant, stand on furniture, and twerk while using culture as an excuse. I'm going to just say this, man. I hear that to some degree, man. It kind of reminds me. It kind of reminds me of y'all remember like Chappelle's show, right? And Chappelle's show when they did the Rick James skits and shit. And Rick James coming over to Eddie Murphy's house, Charlie Murphy telling the story, Rick James coming over to Eddie Murphy's house and shit, and he was just being very disrespectful, don't really care about what the fuck they got going on in the house, being very disrespectful, just like laying up, putting his feet all on the motherfucking furniture and shit. As a matter of fact, just
Fuck your couch, nigga. Buy another one, you rich motherfucker. Fuck your couch, nigga. Fuck your couch. Fuck your couch, nigga. Fuck your couch. Fuck your couch, nigga. Fuck your couch. Fuck your couch, nigga. Fuck your couch.
All right. Now, the thing is, that's funny because it's fucking ridiculous, right? We recognize that as ridiculous fucking behavior. It's funny because if a nigga came over your house, put his feet all over your shit, talking about some fuck your couch, you'd be highly fucking upset, right? Now, if somebody came to your house, restaurant, establishment, or whatever else, and they standing on your goddamn furniture and they doing, they twerking, whatever the fuck else they doing, you gonna feel a way about it because that's your shit. That's your shit. You gonna feel a certain way about it, right? Now, that's not to say that there's this thing that I'm kind of wondering, when we talk about shit being for the culture, right? And this kind of goes into some of the problems that I had with some, the shit that he was talking about. When we start talking about for the culture, whose culture are we talking about? Right? Because even though we're talking about black people and shit, black people, as we say, not only just here on this show, but across the diaspora, are talking about we're not a monolith, right? We're not in a monolithic group of people. So when you start talking about the culture, whose culture are you talking about? Are you talking about hip hop culture? Are you talking about hoe culture? Are you talking about respectability culture? Are you talking about gangster culture? Are you talking about, you know, like, I don't know, college culture? Like, whose culture are you referring to when we start talking about for the culture? And a lot of this shit was wrapped up in respectability, right? Now, y'all know how I roll here on the Spann Report, you know, and I think to a large degree, like, when we start talking about the respectability aspect of a lot of things, man, we start wrapping shit up in like how white folks do things. And I'm just tired of like white folks being the standard of all things. I'm just kind of like, I'm just not, I kind of reject that notion that white folks are the standard of what things should be. Right. And I also kind of reject, like, you know, worrying so much about how white folks feel about the things that we do amongst each other. Right. Because, like, in some degrees, man, like, man, fuck them, because they're not worrying about what the fuck we thinking about a lot of shit. They just not. Right. So when you start talking about for the culture, whose culture are you talking about? Right. And that's where I started, like, you know, he started talking about this respectability shit. Like, you know, if you want to do the twerking shit and all this, that, and the other, take that someplace else. Like, I get it to some degree. Like, you got a certain sort of clientele that you searching for in this particular spot. Also know that when you express these views, that you are going to hear from the people who are not a part of that group, who are going to feel ostracized, and they're going to let you fucking know. They're going to let you know. That's the one thing about social media, is that, like, social media has democratized a lot of the shit. The people that don't fuck with you, they gonna let you know, right? They gonna let you know. And so, like, in feeling as though, like, you know, like, in feeling as though, like, there was a part of what he was saying that I could identify with it to a certain degree. Like, yo, man, I don't want nobody coming to my shit, just like standing on my shit, feeling like because I played a certain song that they could just like act all willy fucking nilly in my place, man. Like I get it. I get it. But also to wrap that shit up in, well, you know, like the respectability, well, I want a certain type of black in here. That's where you start running into problems with, like, the larger community, because the larger community is like, hey, man, so, like, you saying I'm not good enough to be here? You saying my kind, or the people who are like me and like the things that I like, are not welcome here? Yeah, you drawing a line. You're drawing a line, but are you willing to accept the consequences behind that line that you're drawing? Right? I know there was some folks, I seen it online, I saw it on Twitter, I seen it a little bit on Facebook, where folks are talking about, like, yo, man, he was playing a certain type of music, and he was playing a fucking you know, they were serving certain types of drinks and shit. He was serving Hennessy up in his motherfucker, right? He was serving Hennessy up in his motherfucker. He playing twerk music and he playing Hennessy. What the fuck did he expect, right? I hear you, you know? But, like, I can remember being, like, you know, 21, 22, 23 years old. I can remember being at, like, frat parties and shit. I remember going to Q parties and shit a lot at Tennessee State. And 3-6 Mafia being pretty big in Tennessee at the time. And, you know, would it have been okay if I'd have been at the Q party and 3-6, like, the motherfucker be like, I bet you won't hit a motherfucker, hit. And I just stole on a nigga just because the song was playing and I had Q juice in me? Would that have been all right? You know what I'm saying? Like, would y'all have been like, yo, Spann, man, like, that was okay? Like, no, y'all have been like, yo, Spann, you was wild. Come on, man. What the fuck are you doing? Right? If I'd have told y'all this story that I did that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'd have said, like, yo, man, like, you know, back when I was like 21 and shit, you know what I'm saying, man, we was at this Q party wild, and man, and that song came, I just started bowing niggas in the motherfucking face, man. I just started like going ham, man, started going wild. And my goddamn headphones came like this bitch. Hold on a second. Yeah, but had I done that, I'd have been wrong. And so, like, I'm fucking 40, man. Like, you're not gonna be able to like justify that sort of behavior to me because a certain song was being played and a certain beverage was being consumed. Like, nah, man. If somebody came to your house talking about you played a certain song and you served a certain drink and it made me act in a certain way, like, hey, man, like, I don't know if I can co-sign that. I don't know if I can co-sign that. So, like, although I can see what he's saying, I also have issues with the way in which he framed a lot of the shit that he was saying. And that, like, yo, there's a certain kind of black that you want to hear, and you don't want these other blacks. Like, you feel like you're better than these other blacks. Like, and you're framing it in a way in which I feel like, you know, involves the white gaze a little bit too much, right? You're worried about how it looks to other people. Fuck them, right? Fuck them. But also, like, I understand wanting some respect for the place in which you've established, a respect for the place that is yours, a respect for the place that is owned by you, but like you're serving other people, right? So I just think that, like, him wrapping this shit up in the respectability in the way in which he did was where he made his biggest fucking mistake. I don't have a problem with this dude telling these people, like, yo, man, I don't really want this twerking shit in my establishment. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. Like, I get it that, like, yo, people have a good time or whatever else, but, like, I get it that, like, there's a certain level of decorum that you want for a spot, and, like, if twerking ain't a part of that, there's a way to communicate that message to people. But, like, wrapping this shit up in respectability and for the culture, like, it's become a thing where we start talking about for the culture, and, like, it almost doesn't really mean anything anymore, because, like, you just, like I said, the question becomes, like, which culture, nigga, are you talking about? Whose culture? Right? So yeah, man. As my wife is in the chat, she says, this is like, let me pull this up. It's like when people say, play knuck if you buck at a party unless you want to see a fight. You know, it's just, I don't know. I see where people have a problem with this, because I have a problem with this, but I also see, like, you know, I think it's more so in the messaging and how he conveys said message. Real talk. Like, I don't have a problem with asking folks, like, not to. And the other part I think is, like, that really fuck folks up is, like, he addressed the entire fucking restaurant. And I guess trying to maybe see it a bit from his perspective is like, yo, if I say this to everybody, then it can't be, you know, misunderstood. This is what the policy, and this is how I feel like this restaurant should be represented. And these are the type of things that I want done in this restaurant. This is the behavior that I expect to be exhibited in this restaurant. But also, there's something to be said about, hey, man, addressing the motherfuckers who are, like, the guilty parties, right? Address the people who are guilty of the things that are irritating you at the moment right now. So yeah, man. That's in Blue Blazers, man. That's in Blue Blazers. But it's time for us to go to, you know, proud to be an American and shit. That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. Yeah, that's enough of that shit. It's proud to be an American time here at the Spirit Report Podcast, man. And our first story here in Proud to be an American has to do with former President Barack Obama, man. Now, the reason why Barack Obama isn't proud to be an American is not because your man Spann mad at him. I ain't mad at him. Barack Obama is a cool motherfucker to me. I'm still, like, I got the new book Becoming, or I'm sorry, what's the name of the new book? A Promised Land. A Promised Land. I'm still reading that book, right? But apparently, Barack Obama found himself afoul of the left and of certain activists on the left-leaning side of the spectrum, because he went on a Snapchat show or some shit like that, and he talked about the Defund the Police movement, right? And so Sonny Hostin, who's one of the hosts on The View, and Mark Lamont Hill have been going at, like, you know, have been going at Barack Obama because of some of the comments that he made while on this show. So I'm gonna pull this video up from Mark Lamont Hill as he goes at Barack Obama, because I think this is important. So let me go ahead and pull this video so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann as we talk about this issue. Let me do this here. All right, check this out, y'all.
Mr. President, stop chastising us. Stop being condescending to these activists on the ground who have fought courageously in Minneapolis and in Philadelphia and in Baltimore and in LA and all around the country and indeed around the world to fight for a world without police. Get on board. Help us. Use your extraordinary platform and bully.
Understand, he just said fight for a world without police. Understand what he said, just right there.
Pulpit to help create that world, if you believe in it. And if you don't, get out the way and let us do it. President Obama has been on book tour lately, and he has been giving a lot of really interesting interviews talking about the Trump administration, the Democratic Party, and the future of social movements. But he said something the other day that really was off base and really irritated me and a whole lot of other people on the left. He said,
I guess you can use a snappy slogan like defund the police, but you know you've lost a big audience the minute you say it, which makes it a lot less likely that you're actually going to get the changes you want done. The key is deciding, do you want to actually get something done, or do you want to feel good among the people you already agree with?
the president could not be more wrong. First of all, the people who are losing these elections in the 2020 race, the Democrats, were not people who are running on defund the police or who got isolated because they refused to run on defund the police. Almost nobody was running on a defund the police platform. There were a few people who advocated it publicly, like Cori Bush in Missouri. Guess what? She won. But most people were not doing that. So it's a straw man from the beginning. But also, this idea that we could get the goals accomplished of a defunding movement or an abolition movement if we just sat at the table and were nice and warm and fuzzy is absolutely off base and contradicted by history. During the Obama administration, he said we need to sit down and reform. During Bush and Clinton, sit down and reform. And the police are still killing us. It does not work. Defund the police is a clear call. People say, well, if you have to explain what you really mean, it's not a good slogan. No, the problem isn't the explanation. Defund the police means exactly what it says. It is clear. It is unambiguous.
Okay. And here's where we have a problem. Because it's not unambiguous. It is something that we've talked about on this show earlier this year, as a matter of fact. I want to say we talked about this shit in either July or August or something like that, where we talked about the problem with the defund the police, like actual terminology and shit, is the fact that you do have to explain to people what the fuck defund the police actually means. And because of the way in which we live and where folks are getting a lot of their news from social media, where you have to explain to people what this shit means, right? So when you hear defund the police, whether you want to hear this or not, there's a lot of people who believe when you talk about defunding the police, you mean abolition of the police, which Mark Lamont Hill was talking about. The abolition of the police, the having of an America where there are no police presence at all, right? He talked about it at the very beginning of this motherfucking video, the abolition of police in mass, right? That's what he was talking about, the abolition of police. That's what he is aiming for, the abolition of police. There's a lot of people, when they hear defund the police, don't hear reallocation of funds to other means so that we don't call the police for other, for situations that don't necessarily need the police to come, right? So if you're having someone who's having a mental health episode, do the police need to really show up there, or does a mental health expert need to show up there? Does a social worker need to show up at this particular moment right now? Like, do we need the police with guns and shit to try to come there and de-escalate a situation? Many times not being prepared to de-escalate that situation because they don't have the training, and we're already asking the police to do too much as is, right? So Mark Lamont Hill, whether he would admit to it or not, is already telling you, like, he's talking about defunding the police, right? Now think about what that means. You got a lot of people who don't want the police gone. You got a lot of black people who don't want the police gone. That's not what the vast majority of black people want. What the vast majority of black people want is equal treatment by the police. They want to, like, yo, if some crime going on in the neighborhood, hey man, get this motherfucker up out the neighborhood. Lock his ass up, man. I'm tired of not being able to come outside because this motherfucker got so much shit going on. Black people want that sort of protection the same way white people want that sort of protection. They want equal treatment from the police. They don't want an abolition of the police. They want equal treatment up under the law. That's what black people want. That's what the vast majority of black people are fighting for. Equal treatment under the law by the law enforcement. That's all they're really asking for. So when a lot of activists start talking about defunding the police, what they're really doing is like, yo, man, we got to shoot for the moon in order to get the shit that we really want, which is just equality. So Mark Lamont Hill is out here like, yo, I really do want the abolition of the police. And Obama is like, you know, besmirching the character of, you know, these activists who are out here fighting for that reality and this, that, and the other. Like, no, Barack Obama right now is telling you, if you want some of this shit that you want, these are some of the things you're going to have to do in a political reality. As an activist, you could ask for whatever the fuck you want. As an activist, you could demand whatever the fuck you want. But in a political reality, where you have to like deal with people on the other side, like this shit that you're talking about here ain't gonna move nothing. So in order for you to get the shit that you want, you're gonna have to either explain some shit or you got to give some shit up in order for us to move this legislation forward in order to get some of the shit that you want, right? And this is the problem that I have with motherfuckers like Mark Lamont Hill. This is the problem that I have with like some of the extreme leftist motherfuckers, is that like y'all act as though being presented with the political realities of shit is an attack upon you. No, it's telling you like, nigga, if you want this shit done, this is what we got to do. This is what we got to do. And then the other part about this is like, yo, when we talked about this in July, and when we talked about this in August, when we talked about the defund the police movement and all this other stuff, I said this back then. It was like, yo, man, you got to explain this shit to people. Because when you start talking about defund, especially if you got people in the middle, or if you got people who want like, you know, police funds reallocated towards more appropriate sort of apparatuses as it relates to addressing some of the needs of the community. When you start talking to a lot of people, they're like, yo, man, I don't necessarily want the police like abolishing no shit like that. I just want like, you know, when I call when my son is having a psychotic episode, like I get like a doctor or a therapist or something. I don't need Officer, you know, do good coming here with the nine or nothing. And he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And rather than treating my son gets shot 9 times because Officer do good don't know what the fuck is happening right now. Right? That's what most people are asking for. Mark Lamont Hill is asking for abolition. Most people ain't asking for that. Right? So when you talk about defunding shit, you're taking like terminology in large part that has been used against sort of leftist means, right? Because when people think about like the defund Planned Parenthood, right? Defund Planned Parenthood has become a mantra on the right. And mostly everybody understands that when the right talks about defunding Planned Parenthood, they're talking about disbanding Planned Parenthood, getting rid of Planned Parenthood, abolishing Planned Parenthood. They know goddamn well it's not about like reallocating funds to other medical sources. No, they're talking about getting rid of this shit. So when people on the left are talking about a more nuanced approach to policing and taking these funds and reallocating them in other places, yeah, you do have to explain this shit to people, because for so long defund has meant and has been synonymous with abolition. That's what it is. That's what it is. And so for like Sonny Hostin, like to be on The View talking about how wrong Obama is, and for Mark Lamont Hill, like I understand this here, man. Like Mark Lamont Hill years ago, like decided that he was gonna go on the Breakfast Club, and like as a matter of fact, this happened like around 2016. This is around the time when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump were running for president. Mark Lamont Hill went on the Breakfast Club and talked about how he would be willing for Donald Trump to be president, because he thought that it would create this sort of mass movement to get this left-leaning movement moving and all this other shit. How did the fuck did that work out for us, Mark? How did that work out for us? Let me pull this video up. Y'all got to be able to see this here. Let me hold Hold on a second. Let me pull it up because it's a certain part of the conversation I want to bring y'all to. But let me pull this up so y'all can watch this here right along with your man Spann. Hold on, just a second. Here we go. Let's see what he's talking about.
Candidates aren't vast enough, then I would rather introduce a third candidate to build a movement. Because every 4 years we say the third party can't win, so we never invest in the third party. We never grow the third party. If they get 5% of the vote, they can be on the debates. And if they
the problem with the third parties is that third parties only show the fuck up when it's time to run for president. I ain't seen no third party candidates on the mayor or on the mayoral ticket. I ain't seen no third party candidates on a state rep ticket. I ain't seen no third party reps on a senatorial ticket. I ain't seen them nowhere but when it comes time to run for fucking president, man. This is the problem. And like y'all show up every 4 years talking about president. Like, yo, if y'all vote for them, they only need 5%. Like, nah, nigga, show us something other than just y'all trying to be at the top dog of the whole shit, as opposed to building a grassroots movement where people are familiar with your candidates, are familiar with the platform, are familiar with what the fuck you're asking for. You wait every fucking 4 years, and the only time we see y'all is when it's time to run for president. That's the problem with the Green Party. That's the problem with a lot of these third-party candidates. Y'all only show up for the big shit. Y'all don't show up for the shit that means people like y'all don't show up for the things that that affect people on the everyday basis. They mayor the decisions that a city council comes to, the decision that a mayor comes to, the decision that a county representative or a county executive come to affect people on a more intimate and everyday level than anything the president can do. Everybody agrees to that. Meanwhile, the Green Party come out every year playing spoiler when it comes to presidential politics and then act like everybody else is dumb when don't nobody vote for them. This is the problem with this show, sort of shit. But let this video continue.
they're in the debates, now we can change the conversation. We can drag the other people back left. Part of why Hillary's talking all this progressive stuff is because of Bernie. Yeah. But what happens when Bernie leaves the stage? A third party is like a constant Bernie, but not just on the issue of economic justice, also on the issue of racial justice, mass incarceration.
But with the third party, like you said, most people that are voting for that third party are what? Democrats. That's taking the vote from Hillary, which is making the Republicans more powerful.
Right. But again, so that plays into the idea that anybody but Trump. And what I'm saying is that I would rather have Trump be president for 4 years and build a real left-wing movement that can get us what we deserve as a people than to let Hillary be president and we stay locked in the same space.
I would rather not have Donald Trump be president.
Yeah. Angela Yee had a visceral fucking reaction when that motherfucker came out of his face and said, I would much rather have Trump as president so we can build some sort of movement to get this shit that we want. How is that working out for us, dog? We just talked about this shit earlier in the show. 3,100 people are dying every fucking day as a result of a pandemic because of the leadership of the current administration that you were perfectly willing to just be like, all right, cool, so long as we ain't got Hillary? Are you fucking serious right now? So, like, these are the people that are like, these are the folks who are talking shit about whether or not, like, Barack Obama should fall back when he talks about defund the police. Like, real talk, a lot of y'all, when y'all talk about defund the police, yeah, I hear y'all to a certain degree when y'all start talking about someone, well, if you got to explain this to these motherfuckers, then they weren't really on your side to begin with. Yeah, I hear that. But you got a lot of people that are on your side who are confused, who don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because when they hear defund, they hear abolition. And there's a lot of people within the Black community who, although they are, they have a very contentious relationship with the police in their communities, don't necessarily want the community to not be without police. They want equal treatment under the law. That's what they are asking for. They're not asking for a complete abolition of the police movement or the police state or police in general. That's not what they're asking for. They want to be treated as equals to white people and how white people are treated under the law. That's what they're asking for. And they're asking for abolition in the ways in which some of y'all are asking for abolition. Because what do you do when somebody kills 12 people in the neighborhood and you talking about some prison and fucking and police abolition? What do you do with that person? Or, you know, we just need to, you know, just like wrap him up in the community or whatever, man, and pour resources into him. Man, a lot of people are like, man, fuck that nigga, man. Like, lock his ass up. Put this nigga in the chair. He killed my grandma, nigga. Man, fuck this nigga. Right? So yeah, man. Some of these motherfuckers, man, like this, like, to some degree, sometimes, man, it's like the thing with people is that sometimes people are fucking exhausting, right? This is why, like, you know, I like, to some degree, man, I kind of tip my hat to politicians because they're accountable to the people. But sometimes, man, people can be fucking exhausting. And Aaron is in the chat room right now, and he's saying Obama was 100% right. And Williams in the chat room, he says activism isn't the same as actual work of a politician. It takes nuance and compromise. And this is the thing that I think gets lost, right? This is the thing that I get that gets lost. Like, activists are on the outside of the system, and their job, right? Their job is to push the system a certain way, to bend them into a certain way in which, like, kind of like lends credence to the things that they want, and are act like, and to seek some tangible results from that. The politician's job is a lot different from that. The politician has to get some consensus in order to get some movement on whatever the fuck it is he's trying to do. And so what Barack Obama was trying to explain to this dude was like, yo, yeah, the defund the police shit, yeah, it sounds good amongst your group. But like, if I got somebody running in South Carolina and defund the police, like, terminology has been co-opted by the Republican Party, and they're like, yo, man, these people are talking about getting rid of the police, and y'all know we don't really get rid of the police. Now this person in South Carolina that we were trying to get to win has to battle against this argument that they're trying to defund the police, or better yet, or trying to abolish the police, and that's not what they're asking for. Now they lose this race, and we don't get that number to get the legislation that we really want to get passed. Like, it becomes this thing like, man, come on, man, it's civics, baby. It's civics 101. It's civics 6th grade. Come on, man. Mark Lamont Hill is a goddamn PhD. How in the fuck does he not know this shit? God. That's in Proud to Be an American. Another story here we got in Proud to Be an American is we've got a Trump supporter. A Trump supporter gave $2.5 million to fight election fraud. And now he wants his money back. Now he wants his money back, man.
Got him! Got him!
Trump got him, man. So you read the story here. This comes out of The Guardian. It says a Donald Trump supporter who donated $2.5 million to help expose and prosecute claims of fraud in the presidential election wants his money back after what he says are disappointing results. Frederick Eichelman, a businessman from North Carolina, said he gave the money to True the Vote, pro-Trump election ethics group in Texas that promised to file lawsuits in 7 swing states as part of its push to investigate, litigate, and expose suspected illegal balloting and fraud in the 2020 general election. But according to a lawsuit Eshelman filed this week in Houston, first reported by Bloomberg, True the Vote dropped its legal actions and discounted its Validate the Vote 2020 campaign. Then refused to return his calls when he demanded an explanation. The founder of Eshelman Ventures, LLC, a venture capital company, said he asks regularly and repeatedly for updates. The lawsuit asserts that his requests were consistently met with vague responses, platitudes, and empty promises. The lack of success of True the Vote's efforts to challenge the outcome appears to mirror that of the president himself, whose team was lost 38 court actions since the November 3rd election, most recently in Pennsylvania, where a federal appeals court panel blasted Trump's legal team for filing a case with no merit. True the Vote did not immediately return an email from The Guardian seeking comment. True the Vote did not respond to Bloomberg's request for comment, but posted a statement on his website attributing the group's founder and president, Catherine Engelbrecht, seeking to blame outside forces for the failure of its efforts. While we stand by the voters' testimony that we brought forth, barriers to advancing our arguments, coupled with constraints on time, made it necessary for us to pursue a different path, the group said, announcing that it had withdrawn legal filings in Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, all 4 states where Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, where Joe Biden, the Democratic president-elect, won. Yeah, man. Some of this, I mean, far be it from me to feel sorry for this motherfucker to give $2.5 million for election integrity when Donald Trump has like been like priming you stupid motherfuckers to believe that if he lost, it had to be because of fucking fraud. Like, I get it. Like, Donald Trump has been like, you know, cheating. So like, if you won, it means you had to have been cheating. It couldn't be because you was following the fucking rules, man. Like, I get it. But yo, man, he's like, they took your money, and truthfully speaking, like I think Donald Trump has raised like $270 million off the fact that these gullible motherfuckers have believed that like the only way that he could lose was because of like voter fraud. Like it couldn't possibly be that like, yo, man, there's a record number of people who like, hey, we got to get this nigga the fuck up out of here. Like shit is fucked up, right? And truthfully speaking, a lot of people that voted for Joe Biden were Republicans, and it fucking, you know, reflects in the poll results, right? Because although Joe Biden won the presidency, you know, the Republicans actually gained seats in the House. They are right now are retaining control of the fucking Senate, where legislation goes to die right now, unless of course the runoff elections that are happening in Georgia, you know, result in a flip in both of those seats in Georgia. But ironically, where Republicans are telling their own people, they're like, yo, the vote is rigged. So maybe Democrats might win. I don't know. Like, let's cross our fingers on that one. But yeah, man, it's just like you gave $2.5 million to this effort to combat voter fraud that never fucking existed in the first place. And the only reason you gave it is because you followed behind Donald Trump's grifting ass. And now you out of $2.5 million. I'm sorry. I don't feel sorry for you. Okay. But that's in Proud to be an American. Another story that we got here in Proud to be an American, man, is a Trump supporter, man. Like, as a matter of fact, things have gotten so bad for this Trump, you know, won the election sort of shit that they've actually turned to like apparent drunkards for star witnesses, man. There was a lady by the name of Melissa Cerrone, I believe her name is, and she presented testimony before like the Michigan House or like the Michigan legislature under the behest of Rudy Giuliani, to say that there was vast amounts of voter fraud happening in Detroit when the election was taking place, man. All right, so let me pull this video up so you guys can you can watch right along with your man. Here we go. Let's see what she's talking about, y'all.
I know for a fact there was illegal activity going on there. People have pictures of people carrying ballots out of that place. There is pictures of vans full of ballots coming out of that place. These Democrats took every avenue possible to commit fraud in this election.
Shout out to the white power hand signal that she was given. Shout out to that. Okay. Shout out to that.
The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off that 30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000. That poll book. Why don't you look at the registered voters on there? How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
No, I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom of this here.
Zero. There's zero.
So meanwhile, mind you, she's talking to a Republican legislator at the moment. Like she's like, the dudes that she's talking to is a Republican. He has no fucking vested interest in the Democrats winning anything. And she's coming at him like he's a part of the deep state.
Oh, my question then is, if the
guess how many? Wait, what about the turnout rate? 120%.
The turnout rate in the city of Detroit was actually 49%, not 120. But you know,
why we're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes? That's not the case.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
So how many ballots would you estimate in front of you that you observed were counted multiple times in the machine? Can you put a number to it, an estimated number?
At least 30,000.
At least 30.
So she says she can put like at least 30,000 on. He said that she witnessed, like, how many motherfuckers do you know can witness, I don't know, 30,000 fucking voting irregularities and be able to like put a number to it. Like, think about what we're talking about right now. 30,000. Ironically, the 30,000 number is what they're saying the poll book is all, right? Like, so she puts it right where she said, like, come on, man. Come on, man.
This isn't counting, the ballots that are found in rivers, the ballots found under rocks. I had called my manager over to a specific tabulating machine. At that point, I was just really frustrated and upset. I could tell what was going on. I knew what was going on at that point.
What was going on?
He was in on it. They were all in on it.
In on what?
They were cheating. It was very, very apparent. It was apparent he knew. It was apparent that he was in on it. And when he caught on to me knowing that he was in on it, he just wanted nothing to do with me. I called the FBI on the 8th, November 8th. I talked to 2 separate women over 40 minutes. The first one gave her all my information. The phone mysteriously cut out and she never called me back. I was waiting for her to call me back. She never called me back.
This woman is more lit than a goddamn Christmas tree, man. Like, this woman is lit. Like, can you imagine like this being the star witness for any case ever anywhere? But this woman is trying, like, here's the tripped out part, man. Like, remember when like conservatives was talking about liberals crying over the results of the election when Donald Trump became president of the United States, man. Remember that whole shit? And they would post memes and stuff of like, like liberals crying and stuff like that. Like, fuck your feelings, man. Fuck your feelings. Meanwhile, they Donald Trump lost Georgia. I don't know how many times one person can lose one state, like in one election. Like, I don't know how many times you could do that, but apparently Donald Trump has lost that motherfucker a few times, man. Like, Donald Trump has lost what's that state? Wisconsin. This motherfucker paid for a goddamn recount, lost that bitch again, but he paid for the recount. He lost by more votes than he lost the original time, man. So, yeah, man, like this is what has become of the American institution of voting, and this is what they really want. Like, they're just throwing shit at the fucking wall, man, to see whatever is going to stick. Because they hope that some of these cases will go to the Supreme Court. And they hope that because Donald Trump has been able to appoint Supreme Court justices, that the Supreme Court will come in and save him and allow for him to continue to stay in that spot, because he knows that once he's no longer under the protection of that office, that ass is grass, man. That ass is grass, man. Real talk. But yo, man, that's been proud to be an American. Wait. Yeah, fuck that.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
All right. I did have another story for Proud to be an American. It had to do with Betsy Devoss being mad about student loans and student loan like forgiveness and all that other shit. But fuck her, man. Real talk. Nobody cares. It's time for our champ, though.
The champ is here. The champ is here. The champ is here.
All right. Your champ of the week time here at the Spann Report podcast, man. And our champ of the week this week here is Yalitza Jean Charles, man. Now, Yalitza Jean Charles is the creator of the Healthy Roots dolls, man. Now, the Healthy Roots dolls were created to, for one, help young girls of color feel better about themselves, that target their self-esteem. Not only that, like especially young girls of color who have coarse hair, to make them feel better about that. And so Yalitza Jean Charles was she was named one of the 30 under 30 by Forbes magazine, and she's also a Detroit native. So I felt like it was important to highlight her. Let me go ahead and pull this up so we can talk about. Let me pull this up. Hold on, just a second. Oh shit! Why don't I have a champ? Huh. Okay, so let's do this here, because I know I saved this story. All right, here we go. For whatever reason, I didn't tag it the way in which I should have. But we got the story, and we're gonna play the video. So let me pull the video so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. All right. She's 26 years old, by the way. So, like, yo, man, she's getting like an early start on being great. So that's what's up. And yeah, here we go. Let's see what they're talking about. As soon as this video loads, because
I like remember texting my friend like, "Oh my God, this is so cool. What if I get on the list next year?" And so now I am.
A huge honor for Yalitza Jean Charles. At 26, the Detroit woman just found out she made Forbes' prestigious 30 Under 30 list for her line of black and brown dolls, showcasing their natural hair and curl power. But the image of the Healthy Roots dolls came from something Yalitza always wanted, a doll that looked like her.
As I grew up, I didn't see women with that hair like mine being celebrated as beautiful.
Yalitza found out she wasn't alone. Only 4 out of 10 kids loved their curls, although 65% of the population had naturally wavy or curly hair. So she says it only made sense to make products those kids could relate to.
Healthy Roots dolls was started after I did a class project where I turned Rapunzel into a little brown girl with kinky curly hair. And my classmates were like, "Oh my God, this looks like a doll. Like, you should make dolls." And that was basically it. Applied for a grant at my institution, got $4,000, turned it into 50 on Kickstarter, and made the first doll.
The toy company she created has dolls like Zoe and storybooks that empower young girls and represent the beauty of our diversity.
So mommy-daughter doll bonnets so that you can rock them together and protect your curls while you're sleeping at night. And her hair is full of curl power, and you can actually wash and style it just like your own.
Healthy Roots dolls that launched in 2019 have become so popular, they have already sold out for the holidays. Yalitza already looking for ways to expand her brand.
Having a store would be great. I think the possibilities are endless. You have a store, you have a little salon, you know, the girls get their hair did, the dolls get their hair. There's so many things that you can do. And as long as we're reaching children and having a positive impact, we'll do whatever we can.
In the meantime, she says she is grateful to be recognized by Forbes because it means her company is making a positive impact and hopefully inspiring others.
That's one thing that I always appreciate is people showing appreciation for me and the work that I'm doing because it is so challenging. And I believe that there are so many women of color, you know, young entrepreneurs who are doing great work, building the future and changing the world that need to be recognized.
Taryn Asher, Fox 2 News.
All right, man. So yeah, man. Shout out to Yalitza Jean Smith. I'm sorry, Yalitza Jean Charles. She is the champ of the week this week here at the Spann Report podcast, man. Real talk. And yeah, that's dope. That's really, 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 really dope. But it's time for us to get on up out of here. But before we do, let me remind you guys how to get in touch with us here at the Spann Report podcast and let your voice be heard, man. Go ahead and hit up the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages, and of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us emails, and of course, those emails will get right here and responded to here live as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead and follow me. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. You can also hit up our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls when we decide to put those polls up. You can leave comments there. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. Also, shout out to the people who will leave us 5-star reviews on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the one way that you can get us, get to us here at the show. And it doesn't cost you a dime, man. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. I am tired, man. I've been running my mouth for quite a bit. All right. And I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.